This is the WellFounder podcast.
Welcome to the show, Craig. It's an absolute pleasure having you on today.
So much, Xavi. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on because we're going to be talking about something that is so important. I think so, but we live in the world of AI these days, so a lot of people might not think it's that important, and that is all about websites. Yeah, and your website. And before we do, I always like to kick off by letting my guests introduce themselves. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how you go into the work.
Of course, yeah. My name's Craig Murphy. I'm the managing director and founder of Alt Agency. We're a Birmingham-based web design agency, a team currently of 13. And what we do is we use data to help clients drive more conversions from the website. So whether that's sales, inquiries, phone calls, lead fills. And we do this through the use of web design, CRO tactics, and digital marketing. And what we're doing is constantly analyzing the data from the client's website, making tiny tweaks to the website, the content, calls to actions, colors, just making these tiny tweaks, which we measure, all geared to boosting the conversions of the website.
That is so cool. I was going to ask to what end, but I guess you nailed it there in terms of the conversion. So I'm guessing if clients work with you, I guess they'll get more booked calls or sales, or what does that look like for them?
Yeah, absolutely. The most common problem that people have when they come to us is they've already got an existing website which they've probably had for a number of years, and it's just not working hard enough for where the business is today. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, some prospect comes to us with a website from 10 years ago. If the websites are very off the time. They did what they needed to at the time, but as their business evolves, the website stayed 5-10 years ago, and it's not evolved with the times and the tech and what users expect these days. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of clients do you typically work with?
Most of them are Midlands based, usually in Birmingham. Manufacturing. We've got manufacturing clients, estate agents. For some reason, from no specific marketing, we tend to work with a lot of finance clients, helping them build calculators and tools so brokers can understand the products better. And clients as well who tend to be non-techie. They really want a website that they can go into from the back end point of view and run it without the need of a web designer. Really, they want to be able to change images, add text, add blocks, drag and drop, and move things around. So that's our typical clients.
Very interesting. That's a really wide variety of clients right there, because of some agencies focus on one particular niche. I guess you guys are accommodated. Very interesting. And you talk about content you create. Okay, actually, is there a lot of paid ads involved, or what does that work for you guys?
So we're not in the paid ads business just yet. That's a sector we're looking to move into across the next 3 to 6 months. That's a service offering we'll be doing.
Okay.
Lots of it is organic content with organic distribution. So by that I mean we're going look at clients the overall business strategy, what they're trying to achieve for the next 12 months, and then build content and map it out to milestones that they're trying to achieve, which is then distributed organically across Google and then across social media channels, email channels, and even YouTube as well. We do a lot of YouTube marketing as well.
Oh, wow. So interesting. So you have writers and then videographers. Is that how that works?
Yeah. So with the SEO team, it's split up into 3. We've got a head of SEO, an SEO exec, and a content writer / editor. So the SEO exec sets the whole 12-month strategy broken down into 3-month steps. And during that, the plan for the 3 months, 12 months, he will break down content, what's needed at each step. So month 1, content will align for the business goals for that month, that quarter, and the following quarter. And then the SEO exec will go away, do all the keyword research, come up with the ideas. If there's any existing content on there that can be optimized, they'll start with that, come up with a plan to optimize that content, and then create new content if there's a gap for that content to be created. And then once it's written up, the editor will go in, make sure it all makes sense, put the right images in, ensure it's linking off to the other pages and relevant content as well.
Hmm. Very, very interesting. Very cool. So you guys are kind of like a mix of web and SEO kind of thing going on there, and throwing some YouTube stuff in there as well. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, and it's the way digital marketing's going with Google AI search and those type of things. I won't get into it too much, but marketing's going to very likely going to come to a more like a 360 view, whereas a lot of businesses that relied on SEO,
Hmm.
then they're going to have to take on do a lot more of the tactics and use other platforms, your YouTubes, email marketing, building your own list, all the classic marketing things that a lot of people neglected and just relied on Google. They're
Hmm.
probably going to have to take a much wider approach moving forward.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It's funny how many businesses don't have like a proper YouTube channel or YouTube presence, which is like the second biggest search engine. But I find that really, I think I 100% agree with you. Like where they're shifting towards more a full mix, especially even with video. I think they want people to use more video than anything going forward. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Absolutely. We tell our clients that when they talk about video, they're like, a lot of people don't know how to use video and they think it just goes up on YouTube.
Mm,
But once you've got one good piece of video content, you can strip the audio from it, use it as a podcast. You've got the video to use on YouTube. You can make your shorts to distribute across different social media channels as well. You can turn the audio into text as well. So you've got a blog post from it as well. So, there's 4 or 5 ways that one video can be repurposed very, very quickly and very, very affordably as well.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. Awesome. That's you've given us a really good insight into what you guys do, which
Sure.
sets the stage for what what we're talking about fully, the website itself. We're in 2025. I speak to a lot of business owners that don't think the website is that important anymore. Well,
Sure.
what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, so there may be some truth in that. There are some industries, we get clients who come to us and they want a website and they want to do X, Y, Z, and perhaps they don't need something as big.
Mm,
So some industries will probably not need a website, or if they do, very, very small, just to keep them ticking over, just for reassurance, that we're here, we exist, here's where you can find us, here's what we do. We also have clients that come to us, and they want SEO and they want a 12-month strategy where some clients just won't benefit from SEO. Their budgets can be put into other things, to help drive conversions and inquiries for them. But yeah, I mean, it is super important to have a website in 2025, even if it is only a very small presence. It helps build your trust and credibility. The professional website will help establish that trust and the legitimacy. The first thing prospects are going to do these days really is Google you. So even if it's just a one pager, you really want that presence. Say, here's who we are, here's what we do. Get in touch with us. You've got to showcase your expertise as well. So you can use your website to demonstrate your experience through case studies and content pieces, video content, audios, and creating hubs that just demonstrate your industry knowledge and your social proofing through case studies as well. You can also control the narrative as well. So you don't LinkedIn to be your only professional presence. You've got your website. You can put all your assets on there. It's all in one space for people to come and find. And it acts as a lead tool as well, a sales tool that's working there 24/7. Your prospects don't just look at things 9 to 5. We get inquiries, all sorts of crazy hours, 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. So it's always there in the background, ticking away for you. And it's a good tool for professional differentiation, and it can just set you apart from other consultants. For example, if people blow word of mouth and referrals to their business, the website is another way. Just say, look, we've got a presence online, here's what we do, and it's just that tool that works 24/7 for you in the background.
I agree. I agree. Like, and there has to be something to be said about ownership as well. Like, a lot of people talk about their LinkedIn or Facebook, so, TikTok, all that stuff. But you're dependent on those other guys, their rules and regulations, and if they they kick you off the platform, that's it for you.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. And these platforms, some of them have limited reach depending which one it is, unless you pay to boost it as well. But different audiences are different platforms as well. So you've got to think about where your audience is and really be present in those sectors. I'm pretty sure most industries could make a case to be on TikTok, for example, but not everyone probably wants to be on TikTok because your audience there, even though there probably is a
Yeah,
case for it, right? That marketing spend could be spent better somewhere else, for example.
I agree. I agree. All right then. So what are some mistakes you see then when I guess when the client comes to you? I guess you do like auditing to audit their website and see what
Yeah.
goes on. So what are some common mistakes you see when you do your
Yeah.
audit?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily the design or the fact that it's old, because we've had some clients come to us. I mean, an actual case just 2 weeks ago, we were meeting with an accountancy from Birmingham, and we looked at their website, and our initial reaction was just like, "Whoa, this is really, really quite good." It's not necessarily down to the design. I've seen some really ugly websites where we said, we looked at it and we're like, "Well, there's a billion and one things we can do here," but the owner of the business has got a private jet, so looks can be very, 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 very deceiving. But a lot of the common problems that we see is a lack of clear messaging. You want somebody to land on your website and you want to take them by the hand. So the 3 second rule. You want to tell them who you are, what you do, why you're the right business for them, and where they should click next. So just that in headline, the subheadline, and the buttons. So with that, you're sorting your messaging and your navigation out at the same time. A lot of websites talk about themselves, and not the solution they've got. We're experts at accountancy, for example, rather than, we solve tax issues for businesses that trade overseas, for example. They don't really focus on the problem that the client's looking for. A lot of websites use generic stock imagery. I know photography can be very very expensive and out of the reach for some people, and perhaps some people don't have the team or they're remote. But using generic stock imagery, shaking hands, people sat around a table looking at a laptop, it's quite poor these days. There's much better stock imagery out there, and AI can create imagery for you as well these days as well. So there's always that way to get around that problem. A lot of people don't use social proof. They don't scream and shout about how good they are. You can go to a website, they'll just say, "We do X, Y, Z," and talk about their history and whatnot. They don't use any social proof, case studies, results, client testimonials, text or video. Even implementing something as simple as Trustpilot or their Google reviews is a good way to help build trust on the website as well. And sorry, the big common one is of course mobile optimization, because a lot of websites are so old, mobile devices have changed. Perhaps they didn't take a mobile first approach like you would these days. So fixing websites for mobile traffic is key, and making call to actions as clear and as strong as possible as well. Always testing them, test the color of call to actions, test the language used. Click here, don't use click here, use things like buy now, add to basket, and just take people by the hand with the call to actions. They're really the big mistakes that we see more often than not.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. A lot of people don't, and some people like to focus on it looking good than it being functional as well. That's another thing I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I still do think having a good website, a good looking website with good imagery is still important to have these days. But it's still within that, it shouldn't be at the expense of conversions, right? So you don't. There's no point having a big flashy video in the header if it does nothing. That could be taken up by a static image with your value proposition over it. Everything has to have its place and make sense. But yeah, good strong imagery. Short, snappy headlines. These things can, white space. It can all make a website look a lot better than it is. Just a few tiny tweaks, making the most of your white space can make the website look really, really visually appealing, but not too distracting from its main goal, which is to take the visitor by the hand and get them to buy or pick up the phone and call you, for example.
I agree. I couldn't agree. I like it. For me, I think websites are even more important today than ever. Like those common things you've stated are, I think it's very, especially when you do some website auditing yourself, you tend to see certain things, like some of the common things you said. So I 100% agree with you on that. Saying that though, then kind of related, then what are three things you would recommend then if you were gonna design a website or redesign a website for a consulting firm today? What are three things that you would get them to focus on their website?
Yeah, I think the first one, the most important, I'll go into this a bit more detail because I don't sound too vague, is always understand the website visitor and understand why they're coming to your website and what problem they're looking to solve. That should be the foundation of everything. That will help with your navigation structure, your homepage messaging, what should go where and what not. Because a lot of people just build a website for the business and what it offers rather than what the website visitor is looking for. So if you're selling products, you want your products on the homepage, not hidden away somewhere, and just vague descriptions and just some photo that's been taken on the phone. You really want to put your product in the best possible way. If you're a consultant, you really want to get across why people should choose you, what you're helping them with. You could be a business consultant, a health consultant. You might help people with anxiety, for example. So you want to get it clear across. I'm the number one expert for anxiety in this industry. I can clear your anxiety in 30 days, for example. It's a clear value proposition and how you're going to do it, and then get people in touch with you. I think that's super simple to understand the person who's going to be using your website. And making sure, as part of that, making sure that you're optimized on the right devices. Some industries, your traffic may be 80-90% mobile. So you really want to take a mobile approach, because if you just give me mainly mobile, you take the mobile first approach, streamline it. Don't just squash your desktop design. A lot of people, they tend to just take the desktop site and just squash it into a column and put it on the website with no real logical flow. So just thinking about the mobile visitors, why they're coming to your site, what do they want? They're going to want to we're going to know who you are and what you do very quickly, and to get them there as quickly as possible using the mobile tactics to get them to complete your website's conversion. Slow loading websites tends to be the next one. I mean, this is more of a technical one. It comes back to more where the website's actually built, the platform it's built on. A lot of people, they'll put really big imagery on the website or really big videos on the website. It could take the website 10, 15, even 30 seconds. So I think one of the longest I've seen was 90 seconds. So just making sure that the platform your website is built on is correct. And when you're working with a web agency or you're choosing a platform to build your website on, like Shopify, for example, or Wix, making sure that platform is suited to make sure your website loads very quickly. Slow loading websites, they can kill conversions. If your website's taking 60, 70 seconds to load, and your competitor website's up in 3 seconds, and your customers found what they want somewhere else, they're going to ditch your website and go to the one that just gives them what they want. For that instant gratification is very, very important. That can be both the front end of the website, so the look and feel of it, what content's on there, your videos taking ages to load, or your images taking ages to load, and also the back end platform as well. So is your CMS all bloated? Is your database all clunky? And is that causing front end issues as well?
Love it. That's really, really insightful, Craig. Like, you've really given us some really helpful, valuable information regarding website. Because of in this day and age, like I say, a lot of people don't necessarily focus on the website anymore. They're more focused on their socials and stuff like that. But you've given us really a good insight in it, and I thank you for that. And as we wrap up, I always like to ask for a final tip from our guests. Like, if you could share one tip that consultant could do to improve their website, something that would actually a quick win, what would that be?
I would be running split tests. That a lot of people don't do split tests at all. If you might think you've got the right messaging. So let's say you've got some messaging and it converts at 1%, and then you want to improve it. You think, I'm happy with 1%. Some people are happy with 1%. They don't really think about the conversions. A lot of people want more traffic, but in theory, that traffic might still convert at 1%. It's just you just put more into it. You want to get more from the traffic that you've got. So running split tests, I mean, they can be quite complex to set up, but platforms there are platforms out there these days that allow you to run split tests quite easily. So you've got a headline that works, for example, and people are clicking through, but you might want to change the headline. You can do anything. A split test can just be changing one or two words in that headline, or it can be completely rewriting that headline so it's completely different to one you've got, and then split it 50-50 through your traffic and see which one gets more conversions. I mean, that's a very simple example. Split tests can be run on buttons, colors. We've even run split tests, on product pages. So different product pages, complete different designs. You can go into that much detail, and at checkout as well. You can run completely different checkouts to see which one generates you more conversions, really. So split tests, very, very neglected. I guess if we spoke to 100 people, 99 of them probably wouldn't even know what a split test is and never ran one before in their life. And you may get one person who's done that in every 100. But yeah, split tests are probably where the most money is to be found for a business, for sure.
And it makes sense because I like what you said. You want to get more out of the traffic you get because traffic can be very expensive and very difficult to get. So if you're getting traffic, like doing something as little as changing the color, if doing something like that, changing the color of a button will increase your conversions from 1 to 2%. That's just crazy, man. So
Yeah,
thanks.
exactly. And then you've got 2% on your 100 visitors, so instead of 1% on like a much less number of visitors.
Love it. Craig, where can our viewers go learn more about Alt and possibly work with you? What's the best way for them to do that?
So our website is altagency.co.uk. That's altagency.co.uk. I talk a lot on LinkedIn as well. You can find me on LinkedIn, Craig Murphy. I'm autistic, and I speak a lot about running a business whilst suffering from autism. So yeah, you can find a lot about that on our LinkedIn. We've got a LinkedIn company page as well and a YouTube channel. They're all under Alt Agency or Alt Agency Birmingham. That's just ALT Agency.
Perfect. And I will include all of that in the show notes. Once again, Craig, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a blast.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks very much. Thank you.